right in the heart of Silver Bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on man. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the lab. I feel a cold stare.
I need to know if I'm right or wrong. So me and my baby daddy, we've been going through it back and forth, right? So our son, he's a senior this year. So my baby daddy, he pays $900 a month in child support. So since he pays that, he telling me that he don't have to pay for my son's senior trip. Now, let's just chalk it up, okay? Yes, he has paid for everything. He done took care of his cap and gown. He took care of his senior fees. He paid off whatever needed to be paid. He even took care of his prom. He bought the suit. He bought everything. They had a great time for their prom. So now it's time for him to go on his senior trip. The senior trip costs $180. So when I went to him to talk to him about it, he gonna tell me, talking about some, no, he's not finna pay for it. And I'm like, why not? You done took care of everything else. So he tells me, he says, well, just take it out of the child support that I give you. But I told him, I said, I don't have no more. I don't spent it all. It's almost the end of the month now. And he's like, well, what'd you spend it on? But I feel like he all up in my business. And he gonna tell me, talking about, yeah, I see you got your hair done. And then he gonna look down at my toes, talking about, I see you got your toes done too. And I was like, dude, you all up in my business. Can we talk about your son's school stuff, please, sir? I feel like it's only right for him to pay. Go ahead and pay for his senior trip. You've been paying for everything else. And here's the thing. Him and his wife, they make good money. Me, on the other hand, I don't make a lot of money. I'm over here doing it by myself. And I feel like since I've been raising your son by myself, yeah, you help with your child support. I mean, he does help. Don't get it twisted. But at the end of the day, it's $180. How you ain't got that? How you and your wife ain't got $180? And I just feel like if he's a real man, a real father, he would step up and take care of that. It shouldn't be all on me, because I feel like it's all on me now. Am I wrong for thinking like this? Because
Short answer, yes, you're wrong. You did wrong. But this is so normalized that, some of y'all don't realize why people have a issue when it comes to child support and parenting. You can't say a person pays for everything, and then when they give you something small to pay for, you go, why I gotta do it? That usually tells you that's how she is as a mother too. She wants the custody of the kid, she wants the child support of the kid, but she wants the responsibility of raising the kid to be on the man. And a lot of y'all don't want to talk about it in that way. Y'all want to say, since I got the kid. A lot of y'all got the kid, but y'all don't raise the kid. Everybody else has to implement character, moral, structure, discipline. You don't. All you do is collect money and spend it on yourself. That's generally the problem. That's part of the reason why they say these kids can't read, they can't count, they're not prepared for the world. Who are they living with? Who was concerned about their education? It wasn't mama. It wasn't the custodial, quote unquote, parent. It wasn't. It was the non-custodial parent. And sometimes the custodial parent's family, when they knew it was just too many shenanigans going on. Now, there's a part of this where there are men who after a while go, I'm just paying the child support. I'm not giving you nothing extra. Because the vast majority of men who have to pay child support have gone through the stretch where they pay child support and they take care of pretty much everything else. And the mother sits there and plays stupid. I do everything on my own by myself. I don't know. I need some help. And you're looking at her, hair did, nails did, lashes, makeup, new clothes, but you got to buy the kid clothes. I need some money for my light. I need some money for my gas bill. Did you just buy a new phone? Huh? But you don't understand, it's for your child. That's how that happened. And after a while, people go, okay, I'm done. And then when they say they're done and they're actually done, and the mom stuck with the actual child support that's used for the kid, they're so accustomed to spending it on themselves. Then I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm doing this all by myself, and don't nobody help me, and don't nobody. Yeah, you burned every bridge being a selfish scumbag. So now everybody's got to hear the story and believe your story. And just like this woman in the story, it sounds like The guy paid child support, paid all the other expenses, and gave you something to pay for, and you bailed. And 9 times out of 10, when this stuff happens, what does a mother like this do? Your daddy didn't want to do it. Your daddy just didn't want you to go. Your daddy said he ain't gonna do it because he don't have it, but he spent money on everything else. I don't know why he don't have it. And if the kid is smart, after a while, the kid start going, "Whoa, what did he really say?" That's what he said. And then the kid winds up talking to their dad. It's like, "No, I pay for this, I pay for this, I pay for that, I send her this money." And I was like, she should be able to take care of that. What's the problem? And the kid would be like, "It's unfair to me because this is what I wanted to do, but I do get it. You did do all of this." Because then it becomes, well, what is your mom gonna do? What is she gonna do? And generally, the answer is nothing. The answer has been nothing for a very long time. That's the quote unquote, ironically, that's the stereotype of the single mom. Got money for everything else but her kids. Got time for everything else but her kids. Can complain about everything else but can't pick up lift up a finger to do any work on the benefit of her kids. That's generally what it is. And I remember, like, watch this. In my lifetime, I was saying in my lifetime, I only met one woman who took that child support money and made a bank account with it for her kid. I only met one. Generally, that don't happen. And when I say generally, I'll give you at least 10 to 95% don't do it and 5% do it, 90% do it. And 90% don't do it and 10% do. Because this is what happens over and over and over again. And this goes into play when these kids graduate, because she's talking about like senior prom, right? These are the same type of mothers that'll play this game, and then my kid's going to college, so we gotta extend the child support until they're in college, and the father's usually has to pay the first 2 years. So freshman, sophomore year, he's still paying child support. All right. And that kid may be in the state at the college or out of state, but you know who's receiving the money? Mom. And then when it's time for the kid to be a junior and senior, and it's time for mom to take over, you know what happens? She leave that kid hanging, or that kid have to drop out. That's what happens. Pretty generally all the time. See, when it comes to mothers and money, they stab their kids in the back without a second thought. Just like, oh, F this kid. But give me a hug. I love you. I'm your mama. You're my baby. You mean everything to me. You was kind. You was smart. You was important. And you gonna get scammed. So, generally, man, this is a problem. It's been a problem for a very long time, but this is the problem. So, not to mention, there's another part of this. That extends to when people are talking about dating and we don't want to date single mothers. Part of that comes from being a kid and realizing all the scams your mom was running, and then you meeting a woman who's a single mother and she's running the very same scams. It's like, I don't want to be a part of this. That's generally that's a big part of that. When you go, oh, you getting child support, but you want a man to come in and be a provider and take care of you and take care of the kid, and you take care of you, whatever with whatever money you make, and the child support too. So it's really all about you, and everybody is supposed to be a puppet in your little game. And it's about love and care, because I need, my kid needs something. My kid need a father. My kid need this, and you start realizing, no. Your kid need all these things because instead of providing it for them, you would rather rob them blind and put that responsibility on somebody else. And then partially when the lady was talking about him and his wife make good money. Exactly. Because the dad got a relationship, the dad got a wife. We got to do something to be petty enough to try to stretch him thin or try to break him in some type of way because, I ain't got nothing to do but be petty and lazy. And usually, generally, sometimes that's why these splits happen. Selfishness or laziness. But I'm going to get out of here. I digress. Tell me what you think. Catch you on the next one. Peace.